years, and all power to him. I'd now like to ask, up into the ring, the man who looks after these shows and has done for nearly 10 years. To me, he is at the moment one of the best MCs in Britain, and he sits down and ignored. I would like him to come up and take a bow. Mr. Steve Litton, please. And Steve, will you bring the bell with you, please? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Litton. Now, as in normal practice with these legend shows, for the last 2 years I've been bringing in various wrestlers and friends of mine. They have evolved over the last 50 years of my career. I don't know if you know, but I helped to run the British Wrestlers Reunion, and this is a function whereby we all meet up every year in August in Dartford. Some of you know because you've come along. Those of you who don't, you're welcome to look us up on the website if you're on the net, britishwrestlersreunion.com. If you haven't got the internet and you would like to come along, then just come and see me sometime during the evening, give me your name and address, and I'll put you on the database. We'd love to see you, because once a year all the big stars of yesteryear and today get together to entertain you, the fans. We put on food, it's all free, and we would love to make you very welcome over at the Bridges Public House, which is owned and run by the former world champion, Mr. Wayne Bridges. Now, the next part of the evening, I would like to introduction again to some of my friends to come up here and take a bow and say hello. Some of them are from the old days, some of them are from the new. So without any more delay, can I ask the wrestlers to step into the ring?
Go first.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, these are just a few of the faces from yesteryear and from today, and I'd like to introduce them to you. Going round from my left, one of the biggest world of sport legends ever known in this country. He's come over from his home in Marbella to see us tonight. Please give a great welcome to the one and only Bagga Walsh. One of the younger brigade, ladies and gentlemen, from Essex. Please have a hello to Williams. And another legend from down in my neck of the woods, he's one of my closest friends, has been many years, since the mid-60s. We've wrestled each other many times. He is the original gay one, Vince Randell. Not really gay, ladies and gentlemen. And next to him, the taller chap, again from Essex, been around for many years, it's Mad Dog himself, Kevin Richmond. And the former East Anglia champion, from up the road a bit, Mr. Alan Batt. And need no introduction, one of the greatest referees in Britain, internationally acclaimed, the one and only Bobby Stafford. And on my right, ladies and gentlemen, what a man, the former lightweight champion of the world, Steve Gray. I must be very ignorant, but I don't know who you are, sir. Did you? Not the master, correct?
Mr. MC, this man is a fake. You're a fake. I wrestled the Emperor many times. 6'7". I didn't know people could shrink that much. You're not the Emperor. You look nothing like him. I challenge you. I will come out of retirement. The next show here, I will fight you, and I will tell you if you're a wrestler or not.
And there seems to be some controversy because the masked emperor, we happen to know from our reunion, is a dear friend of ours, Bill Bromley.
Excuse me. Steve Gray was wrestling with me throughout the 70s and 80s. And the night, when you kept going, I packed up. But let me tell you, young man, you are an imposter. The Emperor was 6'7" tall, as Mel Mason, as Steve Gray. We were in the business. You've never been in the business. Do not take liberties with members of the public and rip them off and pretend you are not. I fought Big Daddy 600 times. I fought Daddy nearly 700 times. I was in the business. You was never in the business. If you're in the business, take your top off now and I'll do you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is not what we really planned, so I think the best thing is if this gentleman takes his seat in the audience, please, and then we can resume with the evening. Thank you. The masked emperor, actually, ladies and gentlemen, is a gentleman called Bill Bromley. We know him extremely well. He is 6'6", 6'7". He's a giant of a man, and all power to Bangor Walsh, ladies and gentlemen. The next part of the evening, and the reason I asked Steve Litton to bring the bell, is a sad one, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to ask your indulgence. When wrestlers die in this country, it's tradition that we send them to the dressing room in the sky with a 10-bell count. And we've lost not one wrestler, but we've lost 3 in the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to ask you to indulge me and join me in 1 minute silence, please, when we do the bell count. First of all, we lost one of the greatest promoters this country ever had, the great Oric Williams. And Oric put on the wrestling on television under the name Wrestlo Wrestling, which is Welsh for wrestling. He was a mentor to some of the great names of yesteryear, even the great Johnny Saint, who's coming out later, and Klondike Kate, and plenty more like her. And sadly, we lost Oric 2 weeks ago. The other gentleman that died was a ring corner man for Dale Martins, Ted Fretwell, who supported the wrestling and was a guest at our last Legend Showdown, and sadly passed away 2 weeks ago as well. And if that wasn't enough, we lost a third one who wasn't a professional, and yet he was one of the greatest wrestlers this country ever had. His name was Dennis McNamara. He was captain of the British amateur wrestling team, and he fought for Britain in the Olympics 4 or 5 times, where he won a bronze medal and was almost undefeated throughout his career, even beating the Japanese champion Saito. So please, if you would be so kind, think about wrestlers that were your favourites, perhaps, that have left us: Jackie Pallow, Les Kellett, any one of hundreds of them. Please join me for a 10-bell count and a minute's silence.
Excuse me, Mr. MC, could we ask you all to stand in memory of our friends who were in the business with us? Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you all. Thank you so much. These men and women gave their lives in the wrestling business, working 30, 40 years, taking some terrible knocks and bangs, and a lot of them have passed away with cancer as a result of that. And so, thank you so much for your generosity. The next part of the evening, I'll pass you over to Sanjay Bagga. Again, we are going to do an award, and this time we're going to give it to one of the world of sport legends, Mr. Banger Walsh. Banger has had a phenomenal career. As he said just now, he has wrestled Big Daddy alone 700 times. His tag partner was Mal Kirk, and also Stacks, Giant Haystacks, who sadly left us. He has had a 30-year career, topping the bills all over Britain and around the world. His son Darren is known as Thunder, now lives in Germany and is one of the top heavyweight wrestlers in Europe. Banger now lives in Marbella, as well as having a home up in Leamington Spa. He runs one of the most successful security companies in Britain, providing security to royalty and the likes. So please, would you give a rousing chest welcome, yet again, Banger Walsh.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm truly honoured to be awarded this after, 25 years since I last stepped in the wrestling ring. And it's wonderful to be here with friends of mine like the great Steve Gray, one of the best exponents of wrestling in the business for many, many years, the Mal Sanders, and of course the legend that is Johnny Sanj. I applaud Sanj as one of the new promoters because it's nice to see now people are coming back to watch the wrestling, the proper wrestling, not the crap you see on television, the proper wrestling. When I started wrestling, it was my dream to get on television, World of Sport days. I worked for Dale Martins in London, as many of you may remember, so I've wrestled all over this place. But just quickly before I do go, and thank you very much for all your support over the years, not just to me, to my son, to all my colleagues. Spare a thought tonight for the guys that have gone before him, in particular friends like Cat Weasel, Alan Dennison, Haystacks, Big Daddy. You know, just spare them a little thought. The business is the best business in the world, and I was very proud for nearly 20 years. And as I said, I wrestled Big Daddy nearly 700 times. And at the moment, my son is trying to get into the Guinness Book of Records. Of course, unfortunately, nobody can ever match that now because Daddy's gone. But thank you for your attendance. Thank you to LDN for the award. I'm very proud of my career in the wrestling business. And I'm very proud of my friends, the true friends, the ones that really did wrestle. Forget the imposters. If he says he's a wrestler again, I'll personally come down here and knock him spark out. And I'll tell you, the next show, I will come out of retirement, I'll get my boots on, and I'll wrestle him in here, and I'll tell you what, I'll make you see exactly what he is. A fraud, a fake, and a charlatan.
Banger Walsh, ladies and gentlemen, never changes, the great Banger Walsh. Thank you. The next award, ladies and gentlemen, is an honour for me, a particular honour. Back in 1968, I had the privilege to be a promoter in quite a large way with a wrestler called Ray Fury, who some of you may or may not remember. We were doing a show in Bracknell up in Berkshire, and this particular night there was over 1,000 in the audience, and unfortunately our MC, Raymond Miller, didn't turn up because he'd been held up in an accident. And our referee happened to be, at the time, probably the greatest referee in Great Britain. And he was revered the country over. His name was Freddie Green. I don't know if any of you remember him. The great Freddie Green. And Freddie said to me in the dressing room, "We're in trouble here. Frank, you've got a suit on. Get out there and MC." Well, I don't ever wrestle. And Fred said to me, "I will tell you what to say, how to say it, where to stand, and we will get through the evening." And I've been doing that job now ever since for the last 40 years, thanks to Freddie. And the only reason I'm able to stand up here and yak like this evening is because of that great man. Sadly, Freddie was taken from us about 15 years ago after a long struggle with leukemia and heart trouble. But he left a legacy to the world, and what a legacy he left. He left a son That son turned professional at 15, having trained with the great Mike Dimitri, shoot champion of the world in Brixton and Dale Martins. He had his first bout in Peckham at the Lorry Road Bars, working for a great Len Britton. He did 5 years apprenticeship working round Great Britain with everybody. He wasn't a big man, he was very, very small. But he was so great as a technical wrestler, no one could hold him. He joined Dale Martins when he was about 19, maybe 20, and for the next 4 decades, he has worked continuously all over the world. He is the former British lightweight champion, former European lightweight champion, the world lightweight champion, and even attained the welterweight champion of Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the great Steve Gray. Outside of wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Gray is an accomplished cabinet maker. 30 years ago, he wanted to do something to pay back what he'd been given. So he started to work with people who had learning difficulties. He's been working on that job for 30 years of his life. He's still working on it. He's now manager to 3 different project institutions, helping disabled and people with difficulties. He's a fantastic man, and to this day he remains the quietest and the most modest of all the wrestlers I've ever met. So, ladies and gentlemen, yet again, Steve Gray. He won't even speak, the man is so modest. I can't get him to even say anything. Steve Gray, ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful, wonderful man.
It wouldn't be fitting to end the night without one more award. Ladies and gentlemen, when this project started 3 years ago, we needed somebody to believe in me. Being only about 7 years into the wrestling business, it's very hard to find somebody who would say, I want to run a Legend show. I'm 24 just yesterday, and there's one man who believed in the Legend project with me. He's been involved in the wrestling business for so many years, an MC, promoter. He's the organiser of the British Wrestlers Reunion. Please give a big round of applause to Frank Reimer.
Well, I'm not used to getting awards. I don't really know what to say. Ladies and gentlemen, I was 11 years old when I first was enrolled at the Viking Amateur Wrestling Club in South London by the late great Johnny Yearsley, who brought me up when my father died. That was 50 years ago. Since then, I've had the privilege and the honour to meet and work with probably every great name that this country's ever had in one capacity or another. And recently somebody asked me what the highlights of my long career was, and I answered 4 things. The first thing was seeing my own son Frankie turn professional and have his first bout, of course. The second thing was when I founded the Dropkicks Wrestling Academy, which John Ritchie now owns, and that was helping people who had been bullied and medically challenged to get up in the ring, and even if they just did a 5-minute bout, to achieve what they couldn't do in normal life and what we take for granted. The third thing was the awesome friendships that we make in this business. As you can gather here tonight, there is no other trade in this country that anyone can tell me where you can knock yourselves around every night of the week and stay friends for 50 years of your life, like I am with that man over there and Wayne Bridges, who wanted to be here tonight, and people like them. And our reunion, which has been going 19 years, reflects those friendships. It is unbelievable, and I just cannot get over that fact. Fourth, and the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is you, the fans, the supporters, the loyalty that you show. British wrestling in this country always has been and always will be the greatest wrestling on earth. And it keeps going because of the loyalty and the support and the love of you people. And what I would like to finish by saying is, thank you for my little award. I'm very grateful. I would accept it on behalf of everybody that I've ever met in this business, past and present. But I'd like these wrestlers to put their hands together to show your appreciation for your loyalty and join them, please, ladies and gentlemen, because you are fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.